How's it going, everybody? Hope you're all having an amazing day. In this video, we're going to be going over all of the character buffs and nerfs and changes that are coming with the Rick patch coming tomorrow morning. I'm going to go through these as they are presented to me, and I will put timestamps in the description below for each individual character, so if you want to jump straight to your main, you can. If this video helps you out at all, then help me out by hitting that like button, but let's go ahead and cut this plug and get right into it. Starting off with Arya, she's had a bug fix. They've fixed the issue where Arya could deal much more damage than intended, and another bug fix is they fixed an issue where causing hitboxes on stolen attacks not to hit reliably. They also note that they are still looking at updates to Arya's up special, but could use more time to make it right. Expect an update for that in the near future. Moving on to Bugs Bunny, they've nerfed his down air attack. They've made the hitbox slightly smaller to better match the visuals. Moving on to Finn, there's a bug fix with his side air attack. It can no longer ignore air special limits when branching into the attack. And they've also nerfed his down air attack, making the instant cancel on hit removed, and they've nerfed the ground side attack, making the instant jump cancel on hit removed. Moving on to Garnet, they've buffed her ground down attack. Garnet now retains some of her velocity moving into the attack, and they've also buffed her ground up attack. Her recovery was reduced by 3 frames on hit. This change should improve Garnet's ability to follow up on a successful attack. They've also buffed her air down attack. The hitbox active frames starts 2 frames earlier, and they've buffed her air neutral attack. Her recovery has been reduced by 3 frames on the hit. They again say this should help her follow up with a successful attack. That's wild. Garnet coming in with some huge buffs. Let me know if you're a Garnet main down in the comments. But moving on to Gizmo, also coming in with some huge buffs. This is sweet. His jump speed has been increased to 3,700 from 3,400. He has his air ground neutral special music note lifetime extended to 10 seconds from 9. His ground side special, the car is now classified as a heavy projectile. His air side special, recovery has been reduced by 5 frames. And his air down special can now jump cancel out of the attack. Moving on to Harley, they have a bug fix on her down special. They fixed an issue where Jack in the Box would sometimes not hit overlapping enemies. Moving on to Iron a Giant, he has gotten a bug fix. His bolts will no longer be destroyed when they exit the blast box, but Iron Giant does not get KO'd. Moving on to Jake, they nerfed his air ground down special. While in the house and on the ground, Jake will no longer bounce at grounded opponents. And they've also nerfed his ground down attack. The recovery has been increased by 4 frames on the whiff. Moving on to LeBron, they've made a mechanical change here with an experimental tag removed. I don't know necessarily what that means, but they've also done a bug fix where they fixed a bug that would cause the ball to disappear when thrown close to an enemy. They've also buffed his air ground neutral special. When an ally receives a pass, they emit a small explosion to knock away enemies. The no-look pass basketball speed has been increased to 3,200 from 3,000. But they've nerfed his air ground down special. It no longer blocks heavy projectiles, and his basketball air neutral attack no longer breaks armor on first hit. Moving on to Morty, they've made another change where they've removed the experimental tag. I'm not necessarily sure what that means. But moving on to Shaggy, they nerfed the air side special. The recovery has been increased by 3 frames on a whiff, and the air neutral attack no longer breaks armor on the first hit. Moving on to Steven Universe, his air ground up special has been smoothed out so the attack won't hitch. His ground side attack 1 through 3 has been smoothed out so the attack won't hitch. The first attack can now branch earlier into the second attack, and the second attack can now branch earlier into the final attack. Forward movement during attacks is increased so that they hit more reliably. They've also buffed his air side attack, increasing the knockback scaling to 14.5 up from 13.5, and Steven's horizontal kill power was low, so they hope that this will change him in that aspect. And they've buffed his air ground side special, increasing his projectile speed slightly, and they've also buffed his air down attack, making his hitbox active frames start 2 frames earlier. This change makes the active hit frames more accurately match the animation. Moving on to Superman, his ground up attack has been nerfed. They reduced the charge knockback scaling to 1.5 from 2.0. The charge cancel has been reduced by 4 frames. This should make the attack slightly more of a commitment. They've nerfed his ground neutral attack. The charge cancel has been reduced by 4 frames. And they've nerfed his air up special. The recovery has been increased by 12 frames on whiff. And they've lowered the base knockback of the down throw. This should help make the wall camping strategies less effective. Finally, the scumbag Superman strategy is getting tossed out the window. Moving on to Tom and Jerry, though, with his ground side attack, the hitbox active frame window has been increased by 2 frames, and the recovery has been increased by 4 frames on the whiff. A nerf to his grounded side attack, his recovery has been increased by 4 frames on whiff, but a buff coming into his air side attack, the recovery has been reduced by 3 frames, and recovery land cancel has been reduced by 7. And with his air down attack, the recovery has been reduced by 3 frames, and the recovery land cancel window has been moved forward by 3 frames. They've also pushed the knockback angle to be more horizontal. Also, a buff coming into his air ground neutral special, Jerry returns back to Tom if he is killed when attached to an ally. Moving on to Velma, they have a bug fix coming up on the ground up special. They fixed a bug where Velma's vial would not apply stacks of ice reliably. They've also coming in with a neutral fix to her air ground neutral attack. There's a bug fix where the Toodles speech bubble no longer consumes 1 additional ammo, and ally enhanced speech bubbles no longer apply 1 stack of weaken. Another neutral fix to her air down attack, they've pushed the knockback angle to be more horizontal, and they've nerfed her air ground up air, increasing the recovery by 3 frames. They've also nerfed her air ground neutral special, making it to where ally enhanced beams no longer applies 1 stack of weaken, and also ally enhanced beam base knockback is reduced from 1750 down to 1600. Those are all of the character changes coming in with this patch. Wonder Woman being left completely untouched. She's actually sitting in a decent spot right now. Let me know down in the comments if your main made it through this patch or possibly even got buffed in this patch. I know Garnet mains are pretty happy. I've been maining Gizmo lately and coming in with his buffs. Those seem pretty cool. I'll probably be jumping over to maining Rick though. Just totally depends on what I enjoy after Rick comes out. Speaking of which, we're going to be going live right here on YouTube at 4 a.m. Eastern, all the way through to the update. It should be a load of fun. We're always playing customs with the viewers on our countdown streams, and we always have a blast. Be sure to stop by. But that is all of the information that I have to go over in this video. I hope you guys all have an amazing day. I'm out.